Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Harakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, great mills on the rule well, and Shalom to the brothers. Doing the work of sincerity and truth, pushing this word to the four corners, man. It's hopeful elect. Saw this article and I think it's not even the first time that, Esau's tried to do this. But basically trying to, have those crime prediction algorithms and whatnot, which that's something what do you call it? What's the movie called? Minority Report. They mention it in the article. It's the first thing they say, actually. Yeah, Minority Report in the article goes into, and it's something that has been, Esau's basically trying to grab on that spirit, but. These are things that are outside of his realm, man. And that's, but there's multiple things outside of, his wheelhouse, outside of his capabilities that he's trying to do, man. He's trying to basically have himself established out here for all time, but, it ain't going to be going down. So as on the Washington Post, this says, the never-ending quest to predict crime using AI. So it says, in a world of 2002 movie Minority Report, crime is nearly non-existent. Clairvoyants predict when murders are about to happen, allowing police to swoop in and arrest the soon-to-be felons. Though Tom Cruise's all-powerful police force is evident of a dystopian society, researchers have long chased the tantalizing prospect of being able to predict crime before it happens. And as the United States faces higher rates of violent crime, it's funny as well, because even with the crimes, I think they said it's not even gone anywhere near like where it was in like the 90s. Cause I think it dipped off in the 90s. It's kind of been down. But I'd have to look into it, man. So it says a group of University of Chicago scientists unveiled an algorithm last month boasting in a news release of its ability to predict crime with 90% accuracy. The other 10%, if they're thrown in jail, if they get hung in the Queen's Garden, it's just the cost of just the cost of being able to get the 90%. And that's how it is with a lot of Esau shit, where it's not even like the reliability rate of a lot of the shit that he gets down with is nowhere near. Well, it's a bunch of people just get fucked over. The righteousness is it's an unjust weight. Even this is like, if a guy ain't broken the law, speaking about, the biblical law, this, how you gonna punish? It's one thing if it's, in a reincarnation, you're getting punished for things that went down before. But when it's just, Esau shit, which is more or less him just being like, okay, this technological, some supremely carnal means of, trying to make them things come to, trying to have control over or power over the things that come to pass. So as the algorithm identifies locations in major cities that it calculates have a higher likelihood of crimes like homicides and burglaries occurring in the next week. The software can also evaluate how policing varies across neighborhoods in 8 major cities in the US, including Chicago, LA, and Philadelphia. But using AI to direct law enforcement rings alarm bells for many social justice scholars and criminologists who cite a long history of such technology unfairly suggesting increased policing of Black and Latino people. So, the Northern and the Southern Kingdom are the ones that are getting, getting the scope put on them more or less. And the thing with this anyway is really this leans into Esau trying to supplement something Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is able to do. He's just trying to have things by his own means. Because as far as like he's just trying to prophesy, like, okay, things are gonna go down here or there or whatever, or this person's gonna do it. Because if you watch Minority Report, it's basically through spiritual power. They get visions, which are meant to be of the future. But then what? They get visions meant to be of the future. But what's it called? It's not a guarantee. It's fallible. It's sometimes they get false visions, and that's the thing is the Lord has false prophets set up. That's the thing where it says like false visions are something that He's already had. Have it where you'll put a lying spirit in a prophet's mouth and have them say, yeah, there will be peace for like the next 5, 10, whatever years. But then lo and behold, that ain't what's going to go down. So it says the past does not tell you anything about the future. I said Ishanu Chateau Padye, a professor from the University of Chicago and lead researcher of the algorithm. The question is, to what degree does the past actually influence the future? And to what degree are the events spontaneous or truly random? But you're basically trying to do what Yahweh Hashem Yahushua does, where he's already set up everything and how it's going to go down. You're trying to tap into something that is basically been given over to the prophets, the true prophets of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Says this police have long used any tool available to predict crime. Before technological advances, cops would huddle in conference rooms and put pins of crime incidents on a map, hoping that the clusters would help them figure out where they should look next. Over the past 15 years, the country's largest police departments, such as New York, LA, and Chicago, started thinking about using AI to not just analyze crime but predict it. And AI is really that big part of what the elites of Esau are trying to utilize to basically supplement themselves, for the spiritual aspect of things and the spiritual side of things. Because that's a big pull with what Esau's trying to do. He's trying to access things through carnal means, but these are not things that you can just carnally look at, and then you're just gonna carnally look at it, and then you're gonna be able to break it down and make sense of it. This is what a crime or choose to come on and go great crime source. But it's basically just trying to do something that you need the spirit to access, more or less, which is why links up with Esau's pride. We start with this Jeremiah 28:8. It says, what the prophets have been before me and before thee of old, prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. So the prophets, they've been around from the jump, and it's like within every society you've had them pop up and prophesy war, evil, pestilence, prophesy the end of different societies. That's something that's still going down now. That's the job we're doing now, and that's what you're seeing. But it says, what the prophet that prophesieth of peace, when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known that the Lord Jehovah hath truly sent him. So there's prophets that are sent with what? Lying spirits in their mouths. There's prophets sent to deceive. There's prophets sent to make people go off, as well as your prophets that are sent with the truth to predict, to let everyone know what's going down. And it's something that those with the spirit on them, they're going to heed. And that's something that's been in the ballpark, basically handled by Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. So for Esau to try and jump in there is complete confusion. Like that's they ain't gonna run, because like they said, I thingied over it. He said like in 2019, LA police department suspended its crime prediction program, which used historical crime data. After an audit showed it led people to unfairly subject Black and Latino people to more surveillance. So it's really just it's funny that the means that he's trying to utilize result in what? More oppression for Jake, and that links up with this as well. Wisdom of Solomon 2. Wisdom of Solomon 2:10. It says, "Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient grey hairs of the aged." And it says, what? The poor righteous man. That's, talking about the so-called Negro, Hispanics, Native American Indians, who are the Israelites. Those are the poor righteous. Because, as far as they're the only ones that have that connection with Yahweh Shem Yahushua that allows, and the covenant, which is the means by which you can even, have any scrap of righteousness. But it says also what? Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Yeah, let our strength be the law of justice. And one of Esau's key strengths is his technology, that wisdom that's been given to him. And now he's trying to utilize it through these different forms of AI, different uses, different applications. He's trying to have it so he can live forever, so he can access, things in the vein of spiritual power, so he can try and predict the future, so he can try and have all things, on his plate for him, able to manage, that he knows that, Yahweh Shem Yahushua does. He's trying to have it where, okay, now I'm going to replace and find a means to pull that off myself. And this is what Esau's all about, and a lot of his different uses of technology, what he's trying to get into. He's trying to basically access those things, and ain't gonna run. He's been basically given his wisdom. So look, his wisdom has been given is basically for what? Up until a certain point, so he can pull off the charagma, the prophecies that have been put out that he's going to fulfill. But then it's, it ain't going to be for everything. So read this as well. Ezekiel 28:2, it says, "Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Most High Power, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God, I sit in the seat of God, in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man, and not God, though thou set thine heart as a heart of God." Yeah, Esau's just a man, but he's trying to establish himself as a power on the earth. He's trying to put himself on the same level as the Most High. He's basically trying to, have everyone look at him, have himself put on the level of what? Being a power. He says, what? "Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There's no secret that they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures." So yeah, he's got, he's through his wisdom, he's managed to attain all these different things. But then what? It's that doesn't then mean that everything's gonna run, because that's the thing. That's a mistake he's made. The fatal flaw is like I said it above in Wisdom of Solomon 2. I didn't read it. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds. Let us enjoy all the goodly, pleasant things. Esau's basically had the fatness of the earth, been able to enjoy it. It's the little season where he's been able to essentially move unrestricted. But then, that's just a little season, and that's the same thing with Egypt, where they were raised up, to be thrown down. It's, he's had the run of it. He's been able to have the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans are still in his hand. He's still got Israel, he's still got Jake, on smash. But then what? It's up until a time, boundary that can't be passed, a wall that's impossible for him to surpass. It says, "With thy wisdom and with thine understanding thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches." Yeah, he's lost in that pride. "Therefore, thus saith the Most High Power, because thou hast set thine heart as a heart of God. Behold, therefore, I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness." So all that wisdom, all that's been built up, all that so-called greatness, the heights that he's been raised to, is going to be torn down. He's going to get, just as the heights have been raised to, it's going to be taken down to the depths, and it's going to be what? to by the Russians chiefly with the blessing of their military technology. That's one of the key ways they're gonna wipe out America, man, and they're gonna ally the rest of the world's gonna ally themselves with America and turn with Russia and turn on America. And they shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am God, but thou shalt be a man and no God in the hand of him that slayeth thee. Thou shalt die the deaths of the uncircumcised by the hand of the strangers, for I have spoken it, saith the Most High Power. Yeah. So you're gonna basically get left over onto those heathen that have been set up to decimate you. Because why? You've basically held yourself in esteem as if you're trying to be like the Most High. Then the truth, the reality, that is all gonna be peeled away. You're gonna be shown to just be a man. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom. Shalom.